Alright, so today we are playing Simic Ritual. Main point of this deck is you have a lot of value and a lot of free spells. So your value comes from your 2-drops that all draw cards. So you have Ice-Fang Coatl, Coiling Oracle, Fblthp in certain situations will even draw you 2 cards. Eventually you play out a Birthing Ritual. Birthing Ritual lets you sacrifice one of these creatures that you already got your value out of, and hopefully find Abhorrent Oculus or Harbinger of the Seas. Depending on the deck you're playing against, Harbinger is going to be better, some decks Abhorrent Oculus is going to be better, but this is going to be the thing that you cheat out like turn 3, and your opponent's going to have a very difficult time dealing with it. Similar with Harbinger of the Seas, if you're playing against a Tron deck or a deck with greedy mana, Harbinger of the Seas is just going to get them out of nowhere, and as long as you fetched for a single forest, you'll be good with the Harbinger. Shardless Agent pulls a very similar duty to all of the 2-drops, where it's just a creature itself that gives you value. Sometimes you'll cascade into something that draws and you just get a nice little 3-for-1. Sometimes you get Birthing Ritual and then you just get to sacrifice the Shardless Agent at instep and grab something else. And then our removal for the deck, because we really want to have no 1-drops, we're playing Dismember as our removal, which is functionally a 1-drop, but also a 3-drop. Just doesn't get hit with Shardless Agent. And then for our free spells, we've got 3 Subtlety, 4 Flare of Denial, 2 Force of Negation, and 2 Endurance. Deal with creatures and planeswalkers, anything, non-creatures, graveyards. For our lands, 2 Boseiju, 2 Breeding Pools, some fetch lands, 2 Hedge Mazes. We're playing snow-covered basics for Ice-Fang Coatl, and 4 Sink into Stupors, because this deck really never wants to gas out. They just want to keep playing stuff, keep interacting with the opponent. Then for our sideboard, bunch of counter spells. We've got 4 Consign to Memory, 3 Stern Scolding, 3 Mystical Dispute, a Force of Negation, a Harbinger of the Seas for things like Titan and Tron, 2 Force of Vigors for artifacts and enchantments, and Collector Ouphe for the affinity decks. That is it for the intro. Let's get into some games. Alright everybody, we are in match 1. We are on the play. And truthfully, we're just going to keep it. We need a creature, but I feel confident we'll find one. Okay, I'm a little less confident that we'll find one. And we definitely just gave away what we're playing immediately. Okay, just lands. Let's go ahead and crack this for a forest. And play out Birthing Ritual number 1. Not even sure what the opponent's on yet. Ooh, okay, this is probably an Eldrazi ramp or Through the Breach variant. Alright, they take the Emrakul the Promised End. Okay, there's a creature for us. So do this. Let's go ahead and play the Ice-Fang Coatl. Okay, we have a Subtlety. In step, we do find an Abhorrent Oculus, so we'll sacrifice this, grab the Abhorrent Oculus. And we're on to the opponent. Ooh, and another Abhorrent Oculus. Okay. Off to a pretty good start here. Well, it's also off to a pretty good start. They already got 6 mana. Okay, we're not too concerned about a Sowing Mycospawn. We could just go ahead and get rid of it, but I think I prefer save those. Yeah, that's fine, bro. Oh, they grab an Arena of Glory, okay. Actually not that mad about another land. Nah, I think I want to draw a creature instead. Okay, not a creature. But what we could do is attack with both of these here. If they block with the Sowing Mycospawn, we'll go ahead and flip the Manifest creature. And then we've got some free interaction against our opponent. Is there a reason to endurance the opponent? Ooh, there might be to Harbinger, though. Yeah, okay. We'll sacrifice this for a Harbinger. And all you, opponent. Doesn't really matter here. So we put the opponent down from a lot of mana down to a few mana. Okay, well, they've got their colors back. And there's an Ice-Tail Explorer. I think I'm okay just subtletying the Ice-Tail Explorer. We'll pitch Subtlety. And then at this point, we can just hold up hard casting Flare of Denial. We will pass this time around. Okay, we'll take a creature, even though it's barely a creature. Counter the Sire of Seven. Alright, and now sideboard time. Alright, we're sideboarding in another Harbinger of the Seas for Consign to Memory and a Force of Vigor. Sideboarding out the Shardless Agent because it's a non-bow with the Consign to Memories, and Dismembers because typically they won't be good enough to destroy most of their creatures. I think I'm okay keeping this. We could even Boseiju a land if we really wanted to. Okay, there's a Malevolent Rumble. Let's see what they take here. Take the Emrakul again. Let's go ahead and Hedge Maze. It's not bad, but it's not what we're looking for here. Okay, and here we could either hold up Consign to Memory or flash in an Ice-Fang Coatl. And then the 3 mana really shouldn't matter all that much. Or sorry, the 3 life. Yeah, let's just play this, shock it in, and pass to the opponent. Again, it'll either be a Consign to Memory here or an Ice-Fang Coatl. Okay, there's their Emrakul. And here's a Sowing Myco spawn. So, kind of don't want to deal with the Myco spawn. We also don't want to deal with getting our lands blown up. And we're okay with them having a 3/3. I think it's more important to stop them from continuing to ramp. And I'm really tempted to just hold this for the Ugin's Labyrinth, because it cuts them off of a good amount of mana and gets rid of the Emrakul permanently. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you could have up to 6 mana next turn. If we do this, it goes down to 5. Tough call. See what the Coiling Oracle can get us. Okay, just Ice-Fang Coatl. Yeah, we're gonna end up needing our lands. Oh, it's tapping a lot of mana again. I still explore, okay. Well, they have a Ghost Quarter out. Maybe it's worth keeping Dismember in just for Ice Still Explorer. Okay, here's land. We can Ice-Fang Coatl and Consign to Memory. We actually probably want to fetch Shock just to be able to keep more basics in our library since they've got Ghost Quarter out. Let's go ahead and Ice-Fang Coatl now, just in case we top deck a Birthing Ritual. So if we Birthing Ritual, we might be able to Harbinger. Okay, not a Birthing Ritual. So now we might just be preparing for Consign to Memory, whatever large thing they might want to play this turn. Okay, they target this. Float blue, say okay. And we'll go grab an island here. So they attack with both. This doesn't have Death Touch yet. We're just gonna let the damage go through. It's just 5 damage. Is that Thought-Knot Seer? Oh, maybe not. Oh no, they're just gonna pass it to us. Alright, let's grab another Hedge Maze. This is in case they have Kozilek's Command here. We can still keep up the blue rather than flashing in an Ice-Fang Coatl, which at the end of the day isn't going to matter that much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got enough to hardcast the Abhorrent Oculus now. And we have the Simic Ritual, so we actually have a tough decision here. I think no matter what, I want to keep the Consign to Memory up. And I doubt they're going to be doing anything against our graveyard anytime soon, so we can hold off on the Abhorrent Oculus for a turn. Let's go ahead and put in the Birthing Ritual. We will attack with the Coiling Oracle here. And then we can either flash an Ice-Fang Coatl during their turn or Consign to Memory. Let's see what we hit off the Birthing Ritual here. Oh, the Kozilek's Return. Yeah, unfortunately, I do think we have to consign this. Actually, do we even bother consigning it? So they've only got one card left in hand. Cast the Emrakul. We probably care about getting rid of Emrakul. They have 4 types in graveyard. Any instance. Yeah, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they're going to be a little short. It's a tough one, but let's cast the Kozilek's Return. Or sorry, let's counter the Kozilek's Return. Okay, we find a Harbinger. Oh, I should have fetched beforehand. Now we don't have any green mana. Whoopsie daisy. Let's see how punished we get for that. Okay, there's a Vexing Bauble. We actually do not care about Vexing Bauble. We still can't block. Gonna be taking a pretty big hit here. It's the last life point that matters. Oh man, I kind of want to keep the Subtlety back, but I think we're just gonna go for Abhorrent Oculus here. Can't imagine them having anything for Harbinger. If they flash in something to kill the Harbinger, then I learn something. Let's just go ahead and cast the Fblthp. Actually, probably prefer keep that in hand. Yeah, we can just run out another Harbinger. And then we manifest. So now we've got some blockers. And the opponent has Sire of 7 Deaths, so they'll likely wipe the board here. That's just going to be what it is. And then we are going to buy a turn against this Sire. Oh, I forgot about the Vexing Bauble. The Vexing Bauble did matter. Oh, no. Okay, we might be done for. It might just be over. There's another forest. Trample, first strike. I don't even know what we could Birthing Ritual into here. And we could bounce the Sire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they had to sacrifice that. So if we can find our third one here. So let's go ahead and fetch our forest. Let's not mess that up again. And then we could bounce the... Oh no, we can't bounce the Sire anyways. Nope, we'll concede it there. And then here, let's... keep the Endurance. Just one of them. And then we'll bring in the Dismember for this game. We're on the play once more. And this is a fine hand, we'll keep it. Just lead off, fetch, and say go to the opponent. Opponent just plays fetch land, we'll Hedge Maze. Actually put that into the yard. Alright, there's a Flare of Denial, so we will go ahead and grab one basic. I don't think one basic's gonna hurt us too bad. Okay, it was a Coiling Oracle, or sorry, it was an Abhorrent Oculus off the Coiling Oracle. And then now we've got Flare of Denial if they try to do anything crazy on their turn 2. Doubtful, but you never know. Okay, just Malevolent Rumble. Okay, there's Kozilek's Return in the Grave, and they take Vexing Bauble. Vexing Bauble's actually a little bit of a problem for us. Okay, we'll shock in the Breeding Pool here. Go ahead and play the Birthing Ritual. It's not going to make any difference to the opponent here. Alright, and we get an Abhorrent Oculus. We'll take it. Neither one of these are that impactful on the field, but we'll just take the Fblthp. Okay, they cast the Ice-Till Explorer here. How concerned are we about Ice-Till Explorer? Actually, somewhat. I can hardcast another Oculus next turn. I think I do just want to flare this. And then could flip the Fblthp instead. Yeah, that lets us keep up different things. We're going to be pretty likely to hit something off of Birthing Ritual here, so let's go ahead and turn this face up. Yeah, there's Harbinger. And on to the opponent. So we've got Flare, we've got Consign, we've got quite a bit to handle them. Okay, there's a Malevolent Rumble again. I take the Emrakul. Here comes a Vexing Bauble, which will stop our future Flare of Denial. But I think we'd prefer keep our Flare for other things, so we'll let them keep it. Okay, let's play one of the Sink into Stupors as a land. Attack with the Harbinger. And then we will... Do we just keep back some counter magic? Nah, I think we go ahead and get one of these out here. There we go. And none of these we care about more than the creatures we have now, so we'll just let it go. Sure, we'll take another Abhorrent Oculus. Okay, opponent sacks the Vexing Bauble, so Flare of Denial is back on board. They go for yet another Malevolent Rumble. Let's see what they take here. Thinking about it. Alright, opponent took an Uggin's Labyrinth, played the Uggin's Labyrinth, we flipped our Abhorrent Oculus, and then we're just going to hold back the Consigned Memory here. Don't grab anything with the Birthing Ritual. Opponent casts the Emrakul, we are going to replicate and get rid of all of these. Hopefully we click that correctly. Sometimes it can be a little difficult on MTGO. Alright, and that's the match. Good gains upon it. Alright, we are back for our next match. We are on the draw against something red here. Turn 1 Ragavan's pretty bad for us. We kept our 7. I had faith that we were going to draw into a creature. Alright, let's see if I'm immediately punished. Oh, we're playing against Zoo, it looks like. So the first negations aren't going to be exactly the best here. Tron might come up, but less than likely. Oh, one of the issues in this matchup might be the Doorkeeper Thralls, though. Yeah, speak of the little rascal. Opponent attacks with Ragavan and Doorkeeper Thrall. They get a Fblthp from us. Alright, opponent fetched for a Godless Shrine and then played a Flage. We're a little late on this Harbinger here. Not like it would have mattered too much with the Ragavan being out. Not much we can do about this Flage. I think we're just good to go ahead and ship it to the next game. Alright, we're going to cut 2 Force of Negations and a Fblthp for 2 Force of Vigors and a Harbinger of the Seas. Be on the play for game 2, and actually, we'll keep this. Okay, there's the ley line from the opponent. Just gonna turn 1 Hedge Maze like we almost always do. Put that into the graveyard. Okay, we have a Subtlety now. Let's go ahead and... I'm gonna have to grab a basic eventually, so let's go ahead and grab it. Forest, and then... No real reason to Ice-Fang here, so we'll just play out the Coiling Oracle in case it's a land. Okay, it was a land, so we get a snow-covered island, and now we just pass it back to the opponent. Okay, opponent plays out the Scion, so they got the Leyline plus Scion here. And we could have subtletied it there. My goal right now is to Harbinger plus... Oh, well, now we have Simic Ritual. I was going to say Harbinger and Boseiju. Now I'm wondering if we change up that plan a little bit. No, we want to go ahead and get them while they're tapped out. Yeah, let's get them while they're tapped out. They'll get a little ahead of us here, but I think we can pull it back pretty quick. So now these are just islands, and... play our land for turn, pass to the opponent. Actually a little light on green mana here, so next turn we're only going to be able to either Birthing Ritual, or Boseiju, or Ice-Fang Coatl. We were not able to get out our second forest in time here. And I think this hurt him enough here on the lands. And if we would have subtletied the Scion, they'd just recast the Scion this turn anyways. Okay, ooh, man, I wanted to Boseiju this. think we still Boseiju, but then they get to grab a basic if they wanted. Actually, the Abhorrent Oculus is big enough to block and kill the Scion. Maybe we... Oh, we don't have enough in graveyard for Abhorrent Oculus yet. Alright, we're just going to cast out Birthing Ritual and try to keep our opponent off of land types. If they're able to grab a Plains, that lets them deal with us. We'll let them get in one more attack with the Scion. As we might find a Abhorrent Oculus off top. No, but we'll grab another Ice-Fang Coatl. So get rid of this, just grab an Ice-Fang Coatl. Draw a card. Hopefully something good. Land, we'll take it. I am almost just wanting to hold off because it seems like the Harbinger is actually putting in a lot of work against them since they've just got the island type right now. I'm really not wanting to Boseiju the Leyline. And if we can get out an Abhorrent Oculus, it's big enough to block and kill the Scion. There's not much the Scion can do about it. Okay, there's Force of Vigor. Ooh, which actually changes a lot for us here because then we could... This is any artifact, right? Yeah. Okay, we're actually just going to hold off. We're going to Force a Vigor during the opponent's turn to deal with the Leyline, and then hopefully we can find something off the Birthing Ritual here. We have Subtlety back up. Yeah, there's an Abhorrent Oculus. And, you opponent. Ooh, another Abhorrent Oculus. Opponent realizes that they can't attack here. And then let's go ahead and get the Leyline, pitching the Ice-Fang Coatl. And then we can also go ahead and turn this face up. We play land, and then we can actually go ahead and cast another Abhorrent Oculus here. Yeah, let's go ahead and cast another Abhorrent Oculus. And at this point, we might just be able to stomp over him with value. Yep, okay. And then we'll just pass it back to him again. It's not exactly everything we wanted and more, but we do have somewhat reasonable hand here. We have Flare, turn 2 Flare of Denial, which is going to come a turn too late if they do have the Scion. But we can sink into Stupor the Leyline of the Guild Pact. Already our one plan's not going to be as good. There's a Ragavan. Yeah, we'll play the Windswept Heath here, just pass to the opponent. Opponent attacks with Ragavan, they get a Windswept Heath from us, and then they just hardcast Kavu. We're going to Hedge Maze here. Another Coiling Oracle isn't exactly what we're looking for. Let's play a blocker for the Ragavan. Okay, there's a Subtlety, and we'll just pass it back to the opponent. Opponent attacks with Territorial Kavu, discards a Winternight Stories, and draws a card. And they're just gonna ship it back to us. Okay, we get another Ice-Fang Coatl. No reason to play it during our turn yet, so we'll just pass it back to the opponent. And right now we have Flare of Denial and Subtlety up. Opponent instep casts a Leyline Binding, taking our Coiling Oracle. Guess they're just really wanting to hit in with Ragavan. They'll likely discard draw. Yeah, let's go ahead and flash in the Ice-Fang Coatl. I just want to make sure we don't miss our opportunity. Ooh, and a Dismember. Okay. It's pretty big. We might be able to clear away their board here. Alright, hopefully they don't just have Sink into Stupor here. That'll feel pretty bad for us. Okay, and no creatures from the opponent. So it looks like we might have ourselves a little bit of time to rebuild. Let's play the Ice-Fang Coatl. Just to see if we draw into a Birthing Ritual. Because that lets us know whether to go for Hedge Maze or Breeding Pool. Okay, the opponent Doorkeeper Thralls. Really kind of don't want to deal with the Doorkeeper Thrall. Yeah, let's not let the opponent have it. We're using a lot of resources to not deal with this Doorkeeper Throw here. Because next turn, they're just going to get back, and then we're going to have to Flare of Denial it. That does let us get a lot of cards into the graveyard for Abhorrent Oculus here, though. And we're not going down on too many cards, because we do at least get to draw off the Ice-Fang Coatl. There's Birthing Ritual, so we will shock here. That's why we cast it main phase. And then we'll skip to the instep. Oh, or maybe not. Maybe the opponent has a Leyline Binding here. Oh, they have a Tear. Do we care enough about that? Where did they end up putting the... So triggered ability... on the bottom of their library. Okay, that's fine. I think I do want to hold up the Flare of Denial for something more important. Because they've only got one card left in hand. Next turn we get to Abhorrent Oculus, and then hopefully we just get to run away with value from there. Opponent passes it back to us. Let's... Hedge Maze. Into the graveyard, we'll go ahead and Abhorrent Oculus. And then... attack with the Ice-Fang Coatl here. The opponent has a Leyline Binding. I think I'm willing to counter this one. Does the opponent have another Leyline Binding? Okay. Sometimes they just have enough Leyline Bindings. There's 3 Leyline Bindings out the way. We do get to Boseiju and get back our Abhorrent Oculus next turn. And we're both kind of just mostly in top deck territory. So you can see the opponent's just shipping it back to us. Yeah, let's go ahead and try to get back our Abhorrent Oculus here. Opponent gets to grab a Surveil land, likely. Oh no, they just finish off their thing there. Okay. We do get to trigger the Oculus. So many choices. The illusion of choice. Okay. Oh, the opponent shocks in the land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What do they have here? Oh, is it a Quantum Riddler? Oh, they're flashing back Winter Night Story, so they draw 3, discard 2 unless they discard a creature card. Okay, they discard Flooded Strand, Leyline Binding. Okay, we get an Ice-Fang Coatl. We'll go ahead and cast that. Again, seeing if we just top deck a Ritual or maybe even another creature to play. Okay, Endurance. I'll take Endurance. I'll attack out here. We will take a... Actually take an Endurance here. I don't think the Harbinger is going to mess with them too bad. It'll actually hurt us more. Opponent casts a Draco here, which is actually a problem for us. Oh, and they have something else. Okay, Ragavan's not that bad. Go ahead and just get bigger creature. Oh, Flare of Denial, you're just a little late, dog. And then Dismember does us nothing here because of the little Scion. We could attack for 5, but we're actually not going to. We need to leave the Abhorrent Oculus back as a blocker right now. So we're just going to pass it back to the opponent. It doesn't matter. Opponent plays another land. Yeah, we're kind of in a weird stalemate here. Fortunately, I think we'll eventually get there in the stalemate. Okay, there's Shardless Agent. Yeah, let's see if we can find a Birthing Ritual here. Okay, just a Fblthp. It's still something. It draws us a couple cards. Oh no, because it's cast from exile, technically. So it'll just draw us 1 card. But who knows, I actually might be able to make a big enough board that we might be able to just attack through the opponent here. Oh, okay. Sorry about that, yo. Oh, does the opponent have something? Alright, y'all, we ended up top decking the Boseiju to deal with the Leyline of the Guild Pact. And I believe we should get there by attacking all. Alright, we get there. Good games, opponent, good games. We are back with our next match. Looks like no green mana. We have Subtlety and Dismember to try to slow down the opponent. We'll eventually get to an Abhorrent Oculus. Eventually we'll draw green mana, right? Yeah, we'll keep it. We're just not going to hurt ourselves here just for the off chance that we dismember something turn 1. Okay, Gravecrawler. We got a combo deck here. Oh, that is not what we want to see. Come on, we need a green land off top. Oh, Marionette Apprentice. Okay. Just go ahead and get that. Our opponent might have a fast enough game against us. Green land off top here. There we go. Alright, let's Shardless Agent. We get a Fblthp. So we got a nice little 2-for-1 there. I guess it's a 3-for-1 because we also drew with Fblthp. And now we just pass it back to the opponent. We have Flare Denial up. We pretty much want to just Flare of Denial almost anything they play. This is with the Fblthps being legendary. It's not like we can have multiple of them out. Also, with us leading off double Sulfuric Springs there in the beginning, they may have thought that we were on Charbelcher. They can probably get a zombie back pretty easily. But I do think I still take the block there just to conserve life total. Hindsight, better to have done that with Fblthp. I'm okay kind of sacrificing my creatures, because if I get enough creatures in the graveyard, I can just cast an Abhorrent Oculus. Oh, I really don't want to use my last green card in hand. But you know what? We've got Flare Denial. We'll be good. Oh, the opponent Orcish Bowmaster's here. We will counter that, sacrificing the Fblthp. And we get an Ice-Fang Coatl. This is going to be a long game, I feel it. We are actually going to take the block here. So that lets us Abhorrent Oculus next turn. Soul Trader, I imagine? Oh, Boggart Trawler. Okay, we definitely need to get that one. We'll get rid of the Fblthp. Oh, do they just have a main board Nihil Spellbomb or something here? Stitcher Supplier, okay. Not the end of the world. This is a zombie, so they can bring back the Gravecrawler. I think with us having Abhorrent Oculus here, we're actually going to be in a pretty good spot. And then if we feel so inclined, we can actually... Oh, okay, they just give it to us there. Let's go. And I believe for this matchup, we're actually just going to run it back. Don't see any reason to try to bring in any of this stuff quite yet. Now we're on the draw. See how much the game changes on the draw. Just island. Our deck really likes giving us the one-landers. We're gonna mulligan it. Okay, we do get 2 here. We'll keep this. Do we think our opponent's gonna fetch poorly? Yes. We are also going to have to try to fetch pretty okayly, though. Okay, Thoughtseize. Well, now they know about the Harbinger. So, a bit worse for us. Alright, the opponent's hand must have been weak to a Harbinger because they did take the Harbinger of the Seas. So we just play Misty Rainforest, pass it back to them. They Stitcher Supplier. We do have an Endurance. Okay, but they didn't mill anything meaningful. And a Gravecrawler. We're okay with that for now. Just grab Hedge Maze here. We really don't need more cyclers right now. And then we'll actually play the Coiling Oracle here. In case we hit a land, we did not. And then we have both Endurance and Force of Negation up at this point. And Subtlety, we just have all the free spells. Hopefully we top deck land next turn to be able to Shardless Agent. We'll just take this hit. They can just recast the Gravecrawler, and blocking the Stitcher Supplier lets them mill more. Which is exactly what they want to be doing. Okay, nothing from the opponent. Makes me think they might have Orcish Bowmasters here. Even if they do, we just Flare of Denial it. Yeah, there we go. Flare of Denial, target Orcish Bowmasters, sacrifice Coiling Oracle. Okay. Don't exactly want the Harbinger here. They have their black mana. There's a Marionette Apprentice. I think we're gonna have to be okay with that. Truthfully, just hardcast Endurance right now actually wouldn't be too bad on this board. They just can't attack through it that well. And it gets rid of their graveyard. Okay, another Gravecrawler. Okay, but instead we just can't find our next land. Okay, there's Birthing Ritual. What we might do here is block Gravecrawler, and then Endurance get rid of their Gravecrawlers. Oh, they Thoughtseize. Actually don't want you taking my important stuff here. And actually, probably we don't block just because Marionette Apprentice is out. We're gonna lose life anyways. Okay, they unearth Orcish Bowmasters. I do think maybe we just have 2 Endurance here. It's not exactly what we want to be doing, but it's what we're doing. Okay, now we're in a pretty bad spot. Well, it's pretty likely to attack all, except for Marionette Apprentice. So we kind of just have to take 6 here. We don't want to give them more. We're going to take just as much damage either way, pretty much. We need to keep back creatures to cast with, or to get off Birthing Ritual. Opponents ran out their entire hand. Let's see what we get here. Do get an Abhorrent Oculus. And then we have a Subtlety. I'm afraid it might not be enough here. Because they can keep just attacking with Gravecrawlers and recasting Gravecrawlers. Which is exactly what they're going to do here. I kind of just have to let them. The question is if we Subtlety this. Just buys us a little more time. I think we still do it. They might get the combo if they do, it happens. But I just want to buy us as much time as possible here. Okay, Boseiju doesn't help us a lot here. We will... Oh no, I forgot we already had a Boseiju out. Man, not our game. I'm just off right now. Earthing Ritual gives us an Endurance. Also gives us an Ice-Fang Coatl. So Endurance is the better card here. Ice-Fang Coatl might be able to draw us into some kind of action here. I think we have to Ice-Fang Coatl. Okay, it's just Fblthp. They're getting through just as much damage one way or the other right now. I think we needed an answer to the Marionette Apprentice here. That's not exactly an answer. They just attack all next turn. That should give it to them. Let's just see if we have something off the birthing ritual. Another Abhorrent Oculus isn't going to get us there. Alright, let's try again in game 3. Alright, we're trying something a little different on the play. We're going to actually bring in the Stern Scoldings, cutting the Force of Negations. Alright, we are on the play for game 3. We kept our 7, our opponent mulliganed down to 5. Opponent's grabbing their basics to try to play around. Harbinger. They thought seize. I think the correct choice is Fblthp. Could be Birthing Ritual, actually. Either one of those would be pretty rough for us. Opponent thought sees the Subtlety. We Hedge Maze to put a land in a grave, drew a land for turn. We're just going to Fblthp here. And another land. Opponent goes ahead and main phases. Orcish Bowmaster kills our creature. Orcish Bowmaster is actually a pretty big problem for the deck. So we do a lot of drawing, and there's the Stern Scolding a turn too late. Nothing new there. Let's go ahead and play out the Birthing Ritual. We'll play Flooded Strand, grab a Hedge Maze, or a island for Stern Scolding, depending on what the opponent plays. Alright, opponent plays Stitcher Supplier. We're just going to grab an island here and then Stern Scolding that. Oh, and they had another Stitcher Supplier. Mill over Marionette Apprentice, Boggart Trawler, Bloodstain Mire. Okay, well, there's an answer to the Orcish Bowmasters. Not the answer we're hoping for, but it's okay, it's okay. At this point, we're just trying to get into an Abhorrent Oculus. Okay, opponent finds third land, they find green source. We are just going to go ahead and dismember here. Ah, and the opponent unearths the Orcish Bowmasters. Man, we're not going to get away from this Orcish Bowmasters, are we? Alright, let's Hedge Maze. We need a Abhorrent Oculus here. That is not a Abhorrent Oculus. These counterspells keep coming too late. Play out the Boseiju. Tell the opponent go. We got 4 damage pointed at us here. So we're gonna have to draw into something good quick. Okay, well there's a Shardless Agent. Finds Coiling Oracle. Which technically looks at the top and doesn't draw. That's actually better for us. We'll go ahead and cast out this Birthing Ritual. And then we have Flare of Denial held up. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker with the greatest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control. There's no point in us countering this because it's just going to lead to the same end result. Okay, we get to look 14 cards deep for something meaningful. Sacrifice this for a Coiling Oracle. Just gonna give us another card. Then Birthing Ritual, and there's the Abhorrent Oculus. The question is... Yeah, I don't think the opponent's that close to comboing, so I do think we're just gonna go for the Abhorrent Oculus here. Only unearths targeting Marionette Apprentice here. And we are unfortunately going to have to Flare of Denial because we're on too low of a life total to let them have Marionette Apprentice. They're doing a good job of not having to combo. We'll take that block because we pretty much have to. And this is super awkward because we kind of have to sink into Stupor their Orcish Bowmasters to play our Ice-Fang Coatl. So let's go ahead and do that. Feels silly. And then again, we get to look pretty deep for another card that will hopefully be more impactful. Yeah, we'll just grab the Abhorrent Oculus here. And there's yet another Abhorrent Oculus. Okay, opponent's only card left in hand is Orcish Bowmasters. They go ahead and cast it. Guessing they're trying to surveil to see if they can find another Gravecrawler. They put Thoughtseize in the graveyard. Okay, we're just drawing lands here. And I think we actually just ship it back to the opponent. We really have to conserve our life total here, but we're going to be getting 2 extra creatures a turn. Whoopsie, don't want to do that. And then we're just going to say, okay, no to both of these. Actually, is there anything in their graveyard that's concerning? Actually, if they draw an Earth, yeah. Let's Sacrifice one of the Abhorrent Oculuses to Endurance. Give our opponent a few less outs here. Ah. And they just get it anyways. Okay, we'll let them attack out, and then we just bounce the Marionette Apprentice back to hand. Still doesn't put us in a great position. We'll have to draw a counterspell off top. Alright, they functionally lose their entire board here. They do get to recast the Marionette Apprentice. And then we gotta find something for this Marionette Apprentice here. Flare of the Nile is not quite it. So they really only have 2 damage on us next turn. I think I'm actually okay just kind of attacking out here. Maybe I should have went ahead and attacked with the Manifest token as well. Okay, on our end step, we Birthing Ritual. We found Ice-Fang Coatl, sacked Ice-Fang Coatl for another Ice-Fang Coatl. We actually found Stern Scolding and Sink into Stupor. So we did find an out to the Marionette Apprentice. Alright, we flipped our Abhorrent Oculus face up. They Boseiju one of our Birthing Rituals. We don't care, we just get to attack for 11 in the air next turn. Alright, and we got there by the skin of our teeth. Good game, opponent. Alright, we're into the next match. Our opening hand has no green mana, which is a bit of a problem, so we're going to mulligan. And this hand is somehow simultaneously worse and better, but I don't want to go down to 5, so we'll put the Abhorrent Oculus to bottom. And hope that we can find something off of this Misty Rainforest. Opponent also had to mulligan. And we're past to the opponent. We've got Force of Negation, Subtlety, Dismember. We've got some interaction for the opponent. Oh, I thought Seize is going to be brutal here. Yep, there it is. Do we Force of Negation to stop it? Probably not. So pretty likely against either Esper Blink or Esper Goryo. Okay, they took Subtlety. I think I'm mostly okay with that. Into the graveyard with that. Now we need any land. Please, any land. Oh, brutal. Oh, come on. Okay, so it's gonna be Goryo. Okay, we put a Gristlebrand in the grave. Okay, there's Psychic Frog. I actually just get to dismember the Psychic Frog here. They ephemerate it, but we will just Force Negation. Well, it saw our hand. They knew it was coming. Okay, there we go. I fear it may be too late, though. Alright, opponent might just be gassed out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we'll attack with the Fblthp here, and then probably just try to Abhorrent Oculus, get some kind of pressure going. I'm gonna grab a Breeding Pool here. Oh, and no counter spell from the opponent. Are they just going to flashback Faithful Mending here? Opponent flashed in a Solitude, pitching March of Otherworldly Light, and then went for their Faithful Mending. Now they Thought sees us, they'll probably take Shardless Agent here. Yep. Flare of Denial's not the worst thing. Looks like, yeah, just a land in the grave. Alright, no point in trying to counter the Faithful Mending. I put Quantum Riddler and a Trax into the grave. We will, however, counter this Quantum Riddler. Ooh, Birthing Ritual. It's like one of the few things I would actually want to keep on top here. Yeah, let's grab Endurance here. We can get rid of our opponent's graveyard. Which is actually going to put them in a pretty rough spot. Okay, they pass it back to us. Cast another Birthing Ritual. Once you have two of these out, it lets you dig really deep. So we could do Ice-Fang Coatl, draw, and then hope to flip another Abhorrent, but I think actually here, I'm just happy taking the Abhorrent. Yeah, because we wouldn't have got one anyways. Okay, there we go. Alright, we're going to cut 2 Harbinger and 2 Subtlety for 1 Force of Negation and 3 Mystical Disputes. Alright, we're on the draw for game 2. The opponent mulliganed to 6. We kept our 7. Yeah, we just got to allow that. What do they take here, though? Probably Flare of Denial, I would imagine. Okay, they take the first ritual. Okay, and here they probably just take second ritual. Okay. Oh, opponent kept the 1-lander. Yes, we'll gladly take that. Good thing the opponent doesn't know about that. Here we will... Yeah, we'll just go for the Coiling Oracle here. Oh, still no land from the opponent. I think we're good to Ice-Fang Coatl. Just want to leave up a Mystical Dispute here, if possible. Okay. Unfortunate for the opponent, but we got there. Alright, we're on the play for match 3. We're going to keep our 7 here. We've got turn 2 Ice-Fang Coatl into turn 3 Birthing Ritual. We've got Dismember turn 1 if we really need it. I normally want to lead off on land or a Hedge Maze. I also kind of want to grab a basic forest at some point for the Harbinger. But who knows, maybe we can find one here. We don't need another Coatl. Okay, not the basic we needed. Oh, we might be playing the mirror here. They also put Dismember to grave. We might be playing the Simic Ritual Mirror. Which, I mean, it's going to be good for us since we're on the play here. Oh, it's the mirror. Okay, okay. Red alert, red alert. Okay, Abhorrent Oculus. Okay, well, next turn we can Birthing Ritual and Dismember. I actually think we go ahead and Dismember first, just so that way they can't Flare of Denial the Birthing Ritual if they have Flare. Shot this in, and Ritual. Let's see if we can find an Abhorrent Oculus. Just a Coiling Oracle. Not the most exciting. Okay, we get a land. The opponent already has basic forest. Harbinger does nothing in this matchup now. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we Flare of Denial right now, we do actually get to grab Abhorrent Oculus next turn. Oh, we can Abhorrent Oculus next turn anyways. Do we want to let this happen? Yeah, we'll let it happen. We have our birthing ritual out. They don't. Oh, well, they have a birthing ritual now. But maybe we're better off just countering the birthing ritual next turn. I do think we are supposed to grab Forest here in case they happen to get their Harbinger out. They're not getting any time soon. Let's Hedge Maze. Oh, we actually have to Hedge Maze here. Oh, and we're gonna have to... Actually, if we put it on top, they would need land plus creature, and they cast their ritual next turn. Oh, tough call, tough call. Into the graveyard it goes. Another land means we get to Abhorrent Oculus plus another ritual. Okay, that's not what we wanted to see, but... go ahead and Abhorrent Oculus. And actually, we probably should have kept the Dismember to dismember the Coiling Oracle, because if they have Flare here, that's pretty bad for us. But we can Flare in response to their Flare. Okay, they Subtlety. Oh, don't tell me that they have Flare on top of all that. Oh, they've got Flare on top of it all. Okay, now we're kind of into a top deck situation. Opponent actually feels a little ahead of us right now. Oh, yeah. They feel ahead now. And hopefully they just don't get anything good off of their birthing ritual. Okay, so we're off green mana. Let's see, just a Coiling Oracle here. Okay, it gives us a land. Oh, and there goes our birthing ritual. Okay. The opponent might have us here. Brazen Borrow is actually pretty good. Should include it in the list next time we play this. Opponent Shardless Agent, gets a Coiling Oracle. No need for us to block. They're gonna grab something off the top. Sack Coiling Oracle, grab Abhorrent Oculus. Yeah, I think it's over for us. Let's just see what we draw. Yeah, we'll go to the next one. Okay, we're going to bring in 2 Force of Vigors, 3 Stern Scoldings, a Force of Negation, and 4 Mystical Disputes, cutting 4 Shardless Agent because it doesn't work that well with the Stern Scoldings, 2 Harbinger of the Seas, 2 Endurance, and a Subtlety. Alright, we are on the play. We're going to keep our 7. We have no green mana, which is pretty unfortunate, but hoping we can draw into it. We've drawn pretty much every mono-blue source we have, so any lands we get should hopefully just get us our green source that we need. But we have Mystical Dispute, we have Flare of Denial, we've got our Birthing Ritual, we've got Fblthp to draw cards. Got a good amount of stuff here for us. I play Sulfuric Springs tapped, opponent plays Sulfuric Springs tapped, we top deck the Breeding Pool, play Fblthp, we draw a Hedge Maze, and we'll pass it to the opponent. Yeah, that's fine with us. So we're gonna get to Birthing Ritual before they do. We might get to play it before they do. If they try to Flare of Denial here, we just Mystical Dispute in response, which is exactly what happens. Now, do they have a Force of Negation? No Force of Negation. And this actually lets us go ahead and attack in, get a little bit of free damage in. And then, can we find something good off top? Oh, there it is. Abhorrent Oculus. And we'll grab Ice-Fang Coatl. They know that whatever we have under the manifest is likely a creature since we put the Coiling Oracle into the graveyard. And now opponent's the one that's going to have to be playing a bit of catch-up here. Okay, opponent's probably got an Ice-Fang Coatl to put in here. Ooh, I actually do like Mystical Dispute. Doesn't matter, it's gonna get gone away because of the Birthing Ritual, but I would like to at least keep it in my deck. Opponent definitely has something here. They could have Boseiju for the Birthing Ritual. Wow, opponent just concedes it there, so we'll just ship it back. Okay, we're gonna keep our hand. It's very aggressive here. And by aggressive, I mean we're gonna control them out until something budges. Eventually we'll get to Abhorrent Oculus, assuming that they don't have a Subtlety, but we're just gonna counter everything they do for the next few turns. Oh, unless they just don't play anything. So I feel like they might try to flash in something here, so we'll actually just pass it back to ourselves. We will shock in Breeding Pool and pass to the opponent. Could just be being paranoid and they don't have Ice-Fang Coatl here, but I'm pretty sure they have Ice-Fang Coatl. And again, we get to counter their first 3 blue spells this game, because we get to Stern Scolding, Mystical Dispute, Mystical Dispute. We possibly even get to Subtlety. But we might just get to the point where we get to hardcast Subtlety. Okay, they're just Hedge Mazing here. Okay, maybe I was overthinking it. Or maybe they just see that we have counter spells. They're just trying to play it slow as well. So we'll go for the Hedge Maze here. Almost whatever it is, we'll put it into the grave. We just surveil a Fblthp into the graveyard. We will play land and just keep passing it back and forth to our opponent. Our opponent might be on a similar plan where they're just... We might just be getting into a counter spell war here. One of us are going to have to give... Okay, we counter the Coiling Oracle. We will Hedge Maze once more. Flare of Denial is typically good. It's not what we're trying to go for right now. Again, we're just trying to get 6 cards in the graveyard, Abhorrent Oculus, and maybe have enough mana to hold up a counter spell or two. So I think this matchup mostly comes down to who can Abhorrent Oculus first. And if we really wanted to, we could try to force the Abhorrent Oculus here. Now might be the best time, considering they don't have that many counter spells that they could use against it. So let's go for it. Let's see, if we get double Mystical Disputed, we get double Mystical Disputed. Alright, here comes the counter spells. Okay, opponent won the counter spell war. I cast Abhorrent Oculus, they cast Mystical Dispute targeting it, we Mystical Dispute targeting their Mystical Dispute, they Force of Negation target our Mystical Dispute, and now we're in a pretty bad position here. Because now the opponent has a free turn to kind of do whatever they want to. Like, it's not completely free, we have Subtlety, but it's still not exactly where we want to be. We would have preferred to be able to hardcast the Subtlety. Oh, they're going for Abhorrent Oculus here. So they think we're shields down. So now we Subtlety. And hopefully they don't have Mystical Dispute here. Will be another Abhorrent Oculus we might have to surrender to in the future. They actually put it on the bottom of their library. Creature? Ah. Okay. Do we even slam the Birthing Ritual here? I think we do. Going to have to eventually. We have Mystical Dispute. That's all we really have now. Oh, Reclamation Sage! Yeah, we can't counter that one. Okay, the opponent's on the 2-1 beatdown strategy now. Opponent passes at our end step, they attempt to flash in an Ice-Fang Coatl, we Mystical Dispute, and then just keep passing it back to them. But eventually we'll get 6 cards in graveyard again to try to go for Abhorrent Oculus again. Opponent has another Ice-Fang on our end step. Alright, opponent's got a little bit better tempo than us here. And another Ice-Fang Coatl. Alright, at this point, do we just sink into Stupor anything to try to get the Abhorrent Oculus in? No, we've got another turn if we really need to. Alright, let's Coiling Oracle. Opponent allows us to have the Coiling Oracle. We put a Boseiju in. And we just block with the Coiling Oracle. Oh, man. So we could try to go Sink into Stupor next turn, but we're just letting our opponent draw another card that way. Flare of Denial isn't quite getting us there. Do they have another Coiling Oracle? Oh no, they have Brazen Borrower. Yeah, let's just counter the Brazen Borrower. And these Ice-Fang Coatls have Death Touch, which is a big problem for our Abhorrent Oculus. Our Abhorrent Oculus isn't even that great of a blocker right now. Alright, all we can do is try to go for it. And they're almost guaranteed to have a counter spell here. They have Flare of Denial. We can sink into Stupor the Flare of Denial, but they're just going to sacrifice one of their Ice-Fang Coatls. And the opponent flexes on us and just does an Abhorrent Oculus. And then I'm not even sure what we can find here to try to survive. So we're going to go down to 2. Yeah, we have nothing. GG, GG. Alright, and we are back with the wrap-up. This deck performed way beyond my expectations. Honestly, I see why this is one of the highest win rate decks at RC Houston. The deck just has so much interaction, so much value. Even matchups where I thought we might have a difficult time, we just blew through the opponent. The deck was able to grind really well, has a lot of great top decks, great interaction for almost any deck. Absolutely phenomenal. The entire sideboard was used in certain circumstances. Siding out feels, for the most part, pretty obvious what you should do in each matchup. The lands, I like the Boseijus to sink into Stupors to get some more value out of those. Even the Otawara came up. But yeah, great deck. Well, that's it for the wrap-up. Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, comment what deck you want to see me play next. See y'all tomorrow. Peace out.